Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is October 18th, 2018. Happy Thursday to everyone. And I wanted to take a few moments just to give you an update. Thank you to the subscriber who sent me this article. I've been looking for information with regards to this, so thank you very much. I wanted to kind of give you guys an update with regards to Winston Shrout. There have been some really ugly comments that have been left on my channel, in addition to things that have been stated on other people's channels, stating that the information that the Virgo Triad channel gave out on Winston Shrout about 5 months ago was inaccurate. Saying that I was not telling the truth. However, the Virgo Triad channel does not lie. I back up all of my information with links that you can view for yourself that are verifiable and sourced information. Here is yet again another one to back up what the Virgo Triad channel said several months ago with regards to Winston Shrout. Now, the story behind this is that Winston Shrout is a pusher of the redemption theory. He is a guru to accepted for value and promissory notes that are backed by nothing. Very similar to what you see on the April LeJune channel, the Druana Johnston channel, and so on. These parties that the Virgo Triad channel exposes on a regular basis largely have used at least some form of the same information that Winston Shrout pushes. Now, as a result of him actually issuing these fake financial documentations to banks and to the IRS, he was found guilty on 13 counts of issuing fake financial instruments and 6 counts of a willful failure to file his tax returns. Now, part of what happens here, and this is something that I need for everybody to really perk up and listen to, like with the day before yesterday's video where I am explaining to you that April LeJune's clients are starting to get IRS fines and penalties. It doesn't take very long or very many accepted for value presentments in order to start really racking up a high tax bill because you have all of these penalties that have been issued for criminal activity through the Treasury and the IRS. In addition, if you don't pay those off right away, after a 30-day period, interest begins to accrue. So if you, for example, send in 3 accepted for value presentments, all 3 of those are going to come back with fines, with the exception of the first one, which is a warning. But most people don't send in just 1 at a time, all right? So with that being said, let's say that there's 3 outstanding. That gives you a $15,000 fine. If that $15,000 is not paid off within a 30-day period, interest begins to accrue. And interest on criminal penalties or on penalties through the IRS can be as high as 50% interest. So we're talking about another $2,500 on top of that that you can be possibly looking at. Now, every situation is a little bit different, but I can tell you that they don't look kindly upon people who file fictitious instruments through the IRS and the Treasury. Therefore, the fines usually carry an extremely heavy interest rate for those fines that have not been paid. Now, once you accrue a large amount like that, it's very difficult to catch up. And as a result, you can actually be looked at for tax evasion if you don't work it out with the IRS in addition. And if you stop filing your tax returns because of these penalties, of course, you can be fined and eventually criminally charged for not filing your tax returns. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware that these things are absolutely 100% connected. Now, in this case, of course, Winston was caught by doing exactly the same type of thing that April LeJune is doing, exactly the same type of thing that Druana Johnston is doing, in terms of teaching people or telling people or selling packages to people in order to get them to do things like accepted for value, and they are making a profit off of that. Now, having said that, Winston was caught. It took several years for them to catch him, indicted on 13 counts, and he was found guilty. In order for Winston to continue to put off his sentencing, he made several claims. He had his defense attorney claim that he was not fit for sentencing through illness or through mental illness. This last one was with regards to mental illness. And if you read this article, you can see that his defense attorney argued that Shrout was unfit for sentencing, hiring a forensic psychologist in order to determine whether he was fit. Now, the forensic psychologist went in and did determine that Shrout has what's considered grandiose delusional disorder, but he also stated that it should not impair his abilities to assist in his defense or to understand the legal proceedings, which is all that matters in court. As a result of that, Winston has already been found guilty and will be sentenced this month. Here is a photo of Winston Shrout, and he has several YouTube channels and several other blogs. He has a lot of people that upload for him and mirror his videos in addition. This has been something that's been going on for quite some time with Winston, and something that a lot of people, again, like April LeJeune, Druana Johnston, and the likes of others that are pushing the same agenda, have followed. They have followed Winston very, very closely, especially Druana Johnston, who just recently made a video making claims that there's nothing wrong with Winston. He's not facing anything. He's not in trouble. He's out of jail. When in reality, the truth is that he is going to jail. He simply was out on bond waiting for sentencing and was throwing up everything possible to keep himself out on bond for as long as possible. Meaning that he claimed he was ill or he claimed he was mentally ill. And once all of those things got to a point where they were proven to be false, he now has to face sentencing this month. And we'll be bringing you the information on that as soon as sentencing is done. But I wanted to have everybody take notice of the fact that Winston Shrout was only out on bail. He is facing his sentencing. He was found guilty on all 13 counts that he was indicted on. And he is someone who is pushing the same agenda as April LeJeune and as Druana Johnston and a lot of these other people that you find online and on YouTube that are trying to sell packages and tell you to file these false accepted for value financial instruments. This is a very good example, yet again, of someone that it took years for law enforcement to catch up with and indict, but now is facing long, long periods of time in federal prison because of it. So, for those of you that continue to ask questions on my comments, in my comment section and by email, of why is it taking so long to catch people like April LeJeune who are really doing a lot of financial damage to people and are destroying lives by having their homes and cars taken away from them, it does take a long time for a lot of these people to get caught, which is one of the reasons why the Virgo Triad channel tries to keep you updated on what is correct and what isn't correct in terms of the law and tries to stop people from getting scammed by these con artists. But we can only reach out just so far currently with the media that we have available. And unfortunately, it does take law enforcement some time to step in. The more people that turn these individuals in, the faster it will occur. So for people that turn in their IRS forms that they're getting fines and penalties, like the lady that was April LeJeune's client that did 2 days ago, that is the right thing to do in addition to them complaining through the Treasury Department and law enforcement, the FBI. And for anybody that needs information on where to submit their complaints to, please feel free to email me at virgotriad@protonmail.com or leave information in the comment section of where I would need to email you that information. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Because in order to get the scam artists, the con artists, to stop scamming people at $300, $450 per package, or some of them $950 per package and even more, we have to have these complaints filed through the FBI and the Treasury Department. So please make sure that you email me if you are in that situation. Also, one more thing to mention, one of the other reasons why this scam has gone on for as long as it has is that the clients that these people take in, it takes months for them to know that they have been taken. All of the paperwork that has to be filed and the filing fees that are expensive, people have to come up with additional money on top of the package in order to get the money to pay those filing fees, and then it takes a while for the filings to take place. Once those are taken place, and the scam is structured this way, for you to file your UCC-1 before you send an A for V into the Treasury Department. They will have you do all of this paperwork, ordering your birth certificate, so on and so forth. It takes months for that stuff to happen before the A for V even gets filed or even gets presented to the IRS. You don't really get a glimmer of, hey, what's going on, until you start getting these penalties back from the IRS. Then you realize that what you paid for 9 months ago from April or June's package is fraudulent, and you're going to find yourself in trouble because of it. As a result of that, you're 9 months in the hole before you even know. So, as I stated before, for those of you that believe accepted for value is real, you've got a rude awakening coming. Stop now. Pick up the phone and call your local IRS. Even if you don't trust them, be aware that the IRS is exactly who you are claiming you can get these presentments paid by. It simply makes no logical sense for them to tell you something that isn't accurate, and tell you that they're not going to take care of it or that it's not a real thing. Stop and take a look at the link below the description of this video where they talk about accepted for value, and they talk about all of these different things that these scam artists are selling you in these packages. They warn you not to file them because if you do, you're going to be penalized. Stop and take a look at all of the videos that have been made with regards to fraud on the Virgo Triad channel that have to do with accepted for value. Even if you think you trust April or June, or you think you trust your specific guru, stop and take a look at what's on my channel. And that way you can see what's happening with the actual financial instruments you think are legal and able to be filed. All right. I just wanted to make sure that I got this information out there to you guys to show you what will and can happen to each and every person that decides to start filing these fraudulent instruments. But mainly, the reason I wanted for you to see this is because I wanted for you guys to recognize that these so-called gurus that sell this lie and scam in their packages do eventually get caught. It just takes quite a long time for that to happen most of the time. And in Winston's case, it has taken years. But he finally was indicted, found guilty, and will be sentenced this month. We'll be bringing you the information on that as quickly as it is released. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. This is my last video for the week, as I have some personal things to take care of. But I will see you again next week. And I hope everybody is safe and stays warm. It's starting to get a little chilly out there. Take care and have a great weekend, y'all. Bye-bye.